Permit me to share some womanly wisdom with you on this very special day. The more people you love, the weaker you are.
Most people hear that line and think, Cersei is being cruel. A cold woman in a cold room, handing a frightened girl a weapon she hopes will cut her. But that's not what this scene is. What Cersei Lannister does in this room, in her private chambers in King's Landing, on the night Sansa first becomes a woman, is confess. She doesn't know that is what she is doing. She thinks she is teaching, but the words come out too honest, too fast, with too much feeling underneath them for this to be cruelty. This is a woman telling the truth about herself, disguised as advice about someone else. Think about where Cersei is in Season 2 when this scene happens. The city is burning. Not yet, not tonight, but the war is closing in. Stannis is coming. The gold from Casterly Rock is being spent faster than it arrives. Joffrey sits the throne, and she cannot control him. Tyrion controls the city instead. Her father treats her like a liability. The men around her have spent 20 years taking from her body, her children, her name, and giving her nothing back except the title of queen, which means exactly nothing when the king does not listen. And into this moment comes Sansa Stark, 13 years old, or close to it. She has just had her first flowering, which in Westeros means the clock has started. She is now eligible. She is now a resource. Cersei knows exactly what that means because she was Sansa once. She was the daughter of the most powerful lord in the realm, brought to a city that didn't love her, handed to a man she was supposed to be grateful for and told to smile. Look at the room. Cersei is seated. Sansa sits across from her with her hands folded in her lap. The posture of a girl who has been taught to take up as little space as possible. There is a wine cup. Cersei holds it throughout the scene. She does not put it down once. That cup is the tell. Remember it.
You'll do things for them that you know you shouldn't do. You'll act the fool to make them happy, to keep them safe.
She is not describing a general truth about human nature. She is describing specific events. Robert. The beatings she absorbed and the children she protected and the silence she kept for 20 years. Every word here has a memory behind it. The thing is, she cannot say that. She cannot say, Robert broke me. She cannot say, I stayed for my children and it cost me everything I had left. So instead she says, the more people you love, the weaker you are. And she presents it as wisdom, as a gift. On a first watch, the scene lands as intimidation. Watch what Cersei does structurally here. She sits Sansa down. She opens with womanly wisdom, a phrase that sounds like a gift and functions like a warning. And then she lists the ways love will destroy her. She is telling a child not to feel things. And Sansa, who has just had the most private physical experience of her young life turned into a state event, sits there and absorbs it. The surface reading is Cersei is trying to break Sansa's spirit before it can be used against her. She wants a compliant queen in waiting. She is removing hope before it becomes inconvenient.
Love no one but your children. On that front, a mother has no choice.
That reading is satisfying. It is internally consistent. And it is incomplete. Notice this line. Cersei does not say, love nothing. She specifically carves out an exception. Children, the one category she cannot control in herself. That exception is not a rhetorical softening. It is an admission. She is drawing the exact boundary of her own emotional life. Everything closed off, except this. And the way she says a mother has no choice, there is no triumph in it. It sounds like a scar she has learned to live with. It sounds like someone describing the only door they left open in a house they burned down. If this were pure cruelty, she would not have included the exception. Cruel people do not volunteer the place where they are still soft. Cersei does, and that is what the surface reading misses entirely.
Shouldn't I love Joffrey, Your Grace?
You can try. Little Dove.
Watch Sansa's face when she asks that question. She is not defiant. She is genuinely asking. She has been raised to believe that love is the organizing principle of a good marriage, a good life. And watch Cersei absorb the question. The pause before "you can try" is not hesitation. It is the pause of someone deciding whether to tell the full truth or the partial one. She chooses partial. She says "you can try" and she calls her "little dove," which is almost tender. Almost. That almost is the entire scene in one word. Go back to the cup. In the books, in George R.R. Martin's source material, this version of Cersei is more visibly drunk, more frightened. The speech reads as self-pity running alongside the advice, barely disguised. Martin lets the seams show. The show version of Cersei does the opposite. She is sober, controlled, holding the cup with intention. But that restraint is itself the revelation. She needs the cup. She doesn't drink from it constantly. She holds it. Like armor. Like something to grip when what she is actually saying gets close to the thing she cannot say directly. The show gives her control of the cup and takes away her ability to hide behind it. She is perfectly composed, and she is falling apart. Not cruelty, it is a confession. Every line maps directly onto Cersei's own life. The more people you love, the weaker you are. She loved Jaime. She loved her children. Every person she loved was used against her, by Robert, by Tywin, by the city itself. She did not arrive at this philosophy from theory. She arrived at it from 20 years of empirical data, gathered while being trapped in a marriage she had no way out of. You'll do things for them that you know you shouldn't do. She covered for Joffrey in the Bran incident. She protected Jaime at every turn. She made herself smaller, quieter, more manageable, every time someone she loved needed her to. Not because she was weak, because she was trying to keep them alive. I mean, that is not the behavior of a woman who doesn't feel things. That is the behavior of a woman who feels too much and has no safe place to put it. You'll act the fool to make them happy, to keep them safe. She stayed. That is the whole sentence. She stayed with Robert for 20 years. She stayed in a role that humiliated her, and she played it well enough that the realm never fully saw what it cost. Acting the fool is the correct phrase. Not because she was foolish, because she performed the role of the devoted queen so the actual fool on the throne would not destroy her children. And then, love no one but your children. On that front, a mother has no choice. This is the one thing she cannot shut down in herself. She is not offering this as advice. She is telling Sansa where her own last wound is. She is saying, I built walls around everything, and this is the one place where I couldn't. And yet she frames it as a rule. Because turning a wound into a rule is what you do when you have survived something and have no language for survival that isn't also a philosophy. The real reading is this. Cersei came into that room to prepare Sansa for what is coming. But what she actually did, without meaning to, was describe herself. The armor she built, the love she cut away, the single exception she couldn't close off, and the slow, terrible math of a life lived according to the principle that hope is the most dangerous thing you can carry. And Sansa heard it. She just chose not to use it.
The more people you love, the weaker you are.
No other scene in the show gives you Cersei like this one. Not the throne room, not Blackwater, not the Walk of Shame. Those scenes show what Cersei does when the world is watching. This scene shows what she does when only one person is watching. A girl who has no power over her and no reason to use what she hears. And yet the words come out honest. That is what this scene proves. Not that Cersei is cruel, though she is capable of cruelty. Not that she is strategic, though she is. What it proves is that Cersei Lannister was broken before the show started, and the break was shaped exactly like Robert Baratheon and 20 years in a marriage she could not leave. The philosophy she hands Sansa is not wisdom. It is the scar tissue of a woman who survived by believing love was a liability, and who kept believing it because it was the only thing that had ever been proven to her. The tragic irony is that Sansa listened, and then she did the opposite. She loved Jon, she loved the North, she loved the people she was responsible for, and she survived. Not because love made her weak, because she refused the philosophy of the woman who warned her. So here is the question. And two reasonable people will answer this differently. Was Cersei trying to protect Sansa with this speech? Or was she, without knowing it, trying to find one person who would finally understand what it cost her to become who she is? Leave your answer below. I want to know what you saw.